Hello. It is January 12th, 2026. So my week 4 opponent, I did the prep and you just never showed up for our match. I waited 20 minutes after our start time. He didn't accept my invite. He wasn't online. So I got the forfeit win. I think that got confirmed somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of unfortunate because I wanted to play. I was prepping, of course, but it is what it is. So on to our, well, actually, let me show you the whatchamacallit, the standings. So this is me. I am number 69. Nice. I got the half-point buy round or week 2 because I marked myself unavailable. And here I got an X against 214, which I guess means is a forfeit win because I have 2.5 points, I think. Yeah. Total elite join points. Is that what that means? I forget, but I have 2.5 out of 4, even though I only played 2 games. Of the 2 games I played, I'm 1 out of 2, so not bad. Pretty okay with that. Our next opponent is the chess player. Yep, this is me, right? So we're gonna play the chess player. So what we're gonna do, so I actually did this already earlier in the day while I was at work. But I'll save you some of the discovery. So we're gonna use opening tree again because it's faster than the lead chess and having to wait for it to like if there's like a queue for trying to get someone's whatchamacallit, like repertoire, it's much faster. I also saw that he plays a lot of blitz and bullet, so I'm actually going to include blitz and bullet. I'll take out ultra bullet and course, I'll leave correspondence, why not? And then we'll hit continue. I'm only going to do the last year just to save on time. I did do only classical and I did all-time classical and I did last 1200 games. And I do have the black pieces this time around, so I can kind of use the same prep as against my last opponent if I really want to, but we'll get there when we get there. So 673 games, and he is like basically an E4 player only. 6 games of D4, 2 games of E3. I'm assuming this is just a mouse slip. D4, I mean, maybe he was like messing around with it for fun, but I'm not going to take this very seriously, this D4. So let's just say he's an E4 player. I can play a lot of things here. I can play C6, C5, D5, and G6. So I was looking at his Sicilian games. He plays the open Sicilian against knight C6, and then he plays a delayed Alpin. And D5, he has 18 games, 11 losses, so I could try to go into a Sicilian. We'll get this position for sure. And after takes, D5. Yeah, this is like one of the main lines of the Alpin. I don't really remember the theory here. I have to look this up again. I remember white gets an IQP. And you can kind of just go from there. So against C5, against the Sicilian, he is a delayed Alpin player. Against C6, he has a lot of different stuff. If he plays D4, he's going to go into a fantasy, which I haven't looked at this in a while, but I know this main line. Okay, yeah, he does play the main. Okay, he played Castle. And there's only 2 games here. So, like, I'm confident up to this point. It's just or after this point would be where I don't really remember how to play these kinds of positions. So this is an idea. I could try to challenge him in a fantasy Karo Khan as black. But again, he's also like pretty decently higher rated than I am. The chess player. And for the record, these black bars you see are purposeful. I have bookmarks here and my taskbar down here, obviously, because this is on a desktop capture, because y'all don't need to see that. Y'all don't need to see that. Yeah, so he has 2066 classical, 130 games, which is not a lot, but you know, it whatever. A lot of blitz, mostly blitz actually. Recent games, yeah, 3-2 blitz, just a lot of 3-2 blitz. So, yeah. He plays the fantasy against the Karo Khan primarily, but he does have 56 games in these nights. And it looks like he plays mostly the 2 nights. Well, actually, he does have some games in the exchange, which I'm not interested in playing. Well, I won't say not interested. I'm not excited to play. Knight c3, d5 just transposes into knight f3. So we get a 2 nights. So Karo Khan, probably a fantasy. I remember he has 5 classical games. And when I say classical, I mean Leech has classical. He has 5 classical games in the fantasy. And he has 5 in the delayed Alapin as white. So going back, I actually didn't check d5, but it looks like he plays main line stuff. Let's just say knight f6. Yeah, here's pretty normal. So knight f6 here, c6. This is not really a problem at all. Oh, queen. That's a move. Yeah, this is not a problem. I don't care too much about that. Other moves. People mostly play c6 against him, it seems. I think in John Bartholomew's course, I don't have it, but I have seen some of his videos. I think in his queen a5 Scandi, he doesn't play c6. He argues that the queen is just fine on b6 or something, and you're not actually afraid of these discoveries as long as you monitor knight d5 or knight e4. But I don't know. I don't know what he actually says in his course. I don't have it. So now let's look at the prep, or not the prep, but I want to look at g6. This is the prep I was playing against my week 4 opponent, or this is what I was prepping. So he has 24 games, d4 and knight f3. Okay, so he has f4, so this is an Austrian attack style kind of position. So if I go d6, mostly knight f3. People have transposed against him. So now we're in a King's Indian. Castle. Do you go bishop c4 in the Austrian? Did I go bishop e2? No, bishop e2 is the classical. I don't know. But I was actually thinking about playing in this position. Yeah, in this position, a6. This is the Tiger modern, named after... I forgot his name already. There's a guy, his nickname was Tiger. Tiger modern defense. Person. Yeah, Hilarp Person. Yeah, this book I was kind of looking at. And he recommends a6 in a lot of lines. Not every line, but a lot of them. And this is one of them. This is one of the first chapter of his book. So a6, b5. And here he plays a4 and bishop d3. Or has played. But that's 2 games. In his classical repertoire, or in his classical game history, he has no games against g6. So it's not that he's going to be unaware. It's that he's going to probably not have the deep knowledge of the modern. I'm just going to quickly check knight f6. Okay, he's just going to go here anyway. So he's not playing an Austrian, so against d6. 2 games in this. This is called the Mad Dog. The idea is that if white just carelessly develops this, knight d7. Knight d7 is a very common move in the modern, but in this position it's actually really bad, and I'll I know that we're only doing prep, but if you want to pause here and figure out why this is bad, you can pause now. But the reason it's bad is because you can just immediately sack on f7 and then go here, and it's like almost mate. King e8. Oh yeah, the queen is trapped in this line. And if you go here, it's a fork. And if you go forward, I mean, you have to be losing here somehow. Oh, the queen f3 is mate, actually. Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, so you can't just go knight d7. You have to play... You can play e6. I forgot what the book recommends. It's not e6, though. I think it's knight f6? No. Maybe it is d6. I don't remember, but the book recommends some other move that's not... It recommends a move that's not a6, long story short. I think it is knight f6, actually. Because this doesn't work anymore. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, so let me try to get back to where I was against d6. Yeah, he has also played 2 games of c3. I know Danya in his speedrun likes to recommend this kind of setup to blunt a fianchetto bishop early, like an immediate fianchetto by black. But I don't think this is particularly challenging. I can just go like this. Maybe h3. And I mean, you can still probably play a6 at some point in b5. Or maybe you don't, because there's no knight on c3. But anyway, this is probably what I'll play against him as well. He doesn't have too many games in blitz, and I feel like with so few games, because again, this is how many games is this? 673 games in the last year-ish, of all-time controls, admittedly, and it's only 24. So 24 out of 670 is, I don't know, like 1 in 300. So I think this would be a good weapon against him to get him out of his like primary knowledge, like stuff that's at the front of his mind. Now maybe if he's preparing against me, he'll see that I've played a lot of modern and start preparing against me. So who knows? But I think I'm gonna go into the modern, just like I was going to against my week 4 opponent. I could also play a delayed Alpin in the Sicilian. I'm not a fan of the Caro against him in particular because I don't want to deal with the 2 knights, right? Because if he goes like this, I don't like the 2 knights. Caro is black. So, all right, we'll see what happens if we actually get a game. Alrighty, here we go. Good luck, have fun. All right, so let me close my Slack. I was just making sure I didn't miss anything. All right. I think I am playing the modern, right? Yeah. This is what I was prepping. I should have looked at theory a little. Yeah, he plays a 4. D6. Yep. Okay, knight c3. I think, yeah, this is one of the situations I can go for this. a6. This is the Tiger Modern. Now I'm trying to remember, is it b5 first or knight bd7? Pretty sure it's... Oh, it's snowing outside. Anyway. I'm pretty sure b5 is the move. And I'll do some combination of this. Knight bd7, or knight d7, and bishop b7. Okay. So knight d7 looks pretty normal. Let's go for knight d7. Castles. Now, do I go bishop b7 or should I go c5 first? I could also go b4 and then c5, which does look familiar to me. But I don't remember if I need bishop b7 in first. I think it's bishop b7 first, right? Because I want to target e4 here, so let's go here first. He's moving quite quickly, but all he plays is, well, I wouldn't say all, but he plays a lot of blitz and bullets, so I shouldn't worry too much. It is recording. Everything's recording. Very good. King h1, which sounds vaguely familiar. So b4, I would expect knight e2, but he can also go knight a4. It looks fine still. I guess my pawn is a little awkward on c5 in that line. So I was thinking b4, knight e4, c5, dc, knight c, dc, queen d8, rook d8. I kind of have awkward, like, chain of c5 and b4. But at least my dark sword bishop is open. I may have to play like c3. And maybe I'll continue like e6, knight e7, castle. Which I think I'll be okay with. So b4, knight a4, probably not a problem. b4, knight d5. I was thinking e6. e6. e6, knight e3, c5, or even knight e7 and just castle. And if knight e2, I'll just continue c5. Okay, so I think I think b4 now is fine. c5, or I can go a5. But I think c5 is a little better. Yeah, c3 is what I expected. Yeah, I want to play knight f6 and castle, knight gf6 and castle. It's just a matter of how. Can I go knight f6 now? Knight f6, e5. Take. Knight d5. BC doesn't look very interesting. Start with CD, but then my B pawn's kind of awkward there. I could let him take. Also just go knight f6. Knight f6, e5. Yeah, I always have knight d5, so I think it's okay, maybe. d5. Okay. There's a funny move, c4. c4, bishop c4, knight e4. But then he has cb. So I can play a5. I can castle. Castling looks safer. CB is fine. I think I can castle. Rook g1. He wants to play g4. I can play h5, but then he has knight g4, knight g5, which I don't like. I can play bc, knight c, and then can I go like, can I still play my plan of c5? Or sorry, c4? So bc, c4, bishop c4, knight e4. Maybe like queen d1. Queen d1. I kind of like that position. Well, actually, no, you can play bc knight c. And then I can't actually take on e4. I think I'm going to take here and see what he plays. I'm kind of concerned if he plays bc, he has rook b1 and c4, but maybe I could play c4 myself. Because I need to attack the center here before he can get this in. So maybe I should play e6. pawn takes. Okay. C4 is really interesting. But if C4, bishop C2, then what? Knight C5? I kind of like C4. C4, bishop C2, knight C5. I feel like he should be able to defend it. If he plays knight G3, then he's not playing G4. Which is kind of what I want. And if he takes, I'll take on E4. Threatening knight F2. So maybe he'll play like bishop D3. But no, the C3 pawn's also hanging. So I actually kind of like C4 here. I'm down 10 minutes, but he's playing very fast. This is kind of like a fun sort of pawn sacrifice. I mean, it's not really a sacrifice because I win the pawn back or he doesn't take it. Oh, I wonder if I had knight G4. No. Knight G4, like queen D1. Now my knight's misplaced. Do be snowing outside. I wonder if I missed something here. It's always possible. E5, knight D5. I guess bishop takes C4. But then I have like rook C8. Rook c8, queen d2. Or no, after bishop takes c4, my knight is hanging, so I gotta play. But his c3 pawn's also hanging, so Okay, bishop c2. That's what I thought was gonna happen, and then I wanted to play knight c5. Let's double check knight c5. I don't see a problem with knight c5. d5, I still have this, even though the queen hits it, because the bishop's protecting. Knight c5, rook b8, rook b1. Knight c5, rook b1. Probably just go rook b8. Actually, knight c5, rook b1. Knight f takes e4. And the idea is that if bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, rook takes b7, knight f2 is still the problem, which is mate. So knight c5, what if he goes like bishop d3? I mean, I take on e4. Knight c5, e5. Maybe like, do I really want to play de though? I think it's fine. Knight c5, e5, knight d5. Or maybe take knight d5. I think, yeah. Knight g3. Right, he's defending e4. Oh, do I have knight g4 now? So knight g4, queen somewhere. Well, he wants to protect the c3 pawn as well. So knight g4, queen d1. No, queen d1, I can take on c3, and that's a deflection. Oh, wait, knight g4. Knight g4, queen f1. Bishop c3, rook b1. I have time for rook c8. Yeah, I like knight g4, I think. Looks a little dicey, but I think it's fine. I'm still down a lot of time, but I definitely feel like I have the initiative. It's just a matter of how to capitalize. I might need to play e6 at some point. Queen a5 might be a useful move to pressure c3 as well, or even a2. White has a bishop d2 potential resource, maybe. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought was gonna happen. So bishop c3, he's gonna play queen c4? No. He should probably play rook b1. Bishop c3, rook b1. Can I go? No, I don't have a bishop d4. So I'm not actually winning a pawn. Well, you can't play queen c4, never mind. So maybe after bishop c3... I didn't finish my calculation there, my thought there. But you can't take here. That's all that matters. h3, I'll take the rook. So rook here. I should probably go back. Worst comes to worst, I put my knight on h6 and maybe play f5. I don't have to move my bishop, my light squared bishop, yet. So I can probably just go back. But now he might go for h3. h3, knight f6. Then what? h3, knight f6. Queen c4. And maybe then I'll play... Maybe then I'll play rook c8. I'm just trying to look at potential moves to play, but I don't really know what he can play. I mean, h3, knight f6, queen c4, and he does win the pawn back. Queen c4, rook c8, maybe like bishop d3. Oh, I also want to play e6 though. I wonder if I can just somehow later sack for 2 pawns. Like let's say knight h3, or sorry, h3, knight f6. He makes a random move. And then knight f takes e4. If knight takes bishop takes d5. I don't think that works. Okay, bishop h3. He's threatening to take, and then I lose my bishop. Queen a5. Maybe just queen c7. Or rook c8. I think just queen c7. Queen c7, bishop c5, dc5 is probably... I have to play dc5. I'm not even attacking f4. And I want to put my f rook on c8. Yeah, I just will play queen c7. Well, what about queen d7? Just play queen c7. Take, take, oops, take, take. Still can't take here. Oh wait, what if I do take with the queen? I'm threatening knight g4 again. Two pieces for the queen? I mean, it's winning. And it defends my c4 pawn, for later. So bishop c5, queen c5. I mean, you can just defend, and then I'll defend my bishop, right? So something like rook a b8. Or maybe rook fb8. Just so I keep my a6 pawn defended. Yeah, maybe rook fb8. Okay, so I can play queen c5. Okay, so what's his next move? h3. Like, I'm expecting him to play h3 at some point. And I feel like I'm not really better. h3, knight f6. And then he can take on c4. At least I'll have time to play rook fb8. Rook fb8. And then after queen c4, if he plays bishop c5, I might just have to take with the pawn. Yeah. Although it kind of feels like he's starting to come in, so maybe I'll take with the... Well, no. Never mind. Wait, what? I don't know. So h3. Can I ever play knight h6? That doesn't look right. Because I have to play f5 to open up my knight again. I don't think that's a good idea. h3, knight f6, queen c4. Oh wait, I can play knight c e4 with the same idea as before. And if knight takes, and his queen's hanging too, so he has to move his queen back to like maybe e2, maybe f1. And then I can take his knight on g3, and after pawn takes g3. My knight's in a really good position. So h3, knight f6, queen c4. I have knight c e4. If bishop takes, it's knight f2 mate. If knight takes, well, yeah, if knight takes, I take his queen. If queen takes queen, it's mate. So queen e2 and queen f1 are the only moves. But isn't it still mate? Wait, did he play h3 already? Yeah, he did play h3 already. So no, that doesn't work. Never mind. So he needs to play h3 before queen c4. Yeah. He's listening to me. No, I'm kidding. Can I play? No. I cannot play knight e4 anyway. It just doesn't work. Okay, so knight f6. Right, I've seen this for a while now. Now you can play queen c4. And I'm kind of coming back to the idea, can I somehow take for 2 pawns? Sack on e4 for 2 pawns, which I don't think it works. f5, yeah. I think I want to play rook fb8. Am I scared of fg? No. I feel like I missed something here, but I don't know exactly what. I don't know what I'm missing here. Should I play f takes? No, I don't think so, because then you can go here or here, and this is a problem. But on the other hand, I can play e6 and then I defend this way. Yeah, he takes on c4. Okay. I think I should play knight fd7. I mean, he gets this now, but maybe I can play here. Could also play the. No. Eh. Where does this bishop belong? That's a real question. Because there's just like nothing available. Yeah, he wants to trade. Could play f6, but that looks really bad. Ugh, I don't like this. Maybe 95 is necessary. Well, it leads to the same problem. .95 Omega trades on e5. And if you go queen c3, at least I can play f6 there. I need to defend my queen somehow. I did say queen a5 was an idea, but I don't think in this position. I might need to play queen c8. Or maybe queen a5. I don't know. Take, take, take. This is really what it is, right? I guess I'll try to go queen d6 now. Queen d6, get out of the way, and then maybe reroute this knight somewhere. Maybe like here. Pressure that. Yeah, so he wants to play d6. But I can play queen d6 myself. I guess the question is if I want to play f6 or not. This pawn becomes weak. Do I have the better endgame? I don't think so. Not saying I'm worse, but I don't think it's better. I don't think I'm better. Yeah, so now what? Probably just continue with 97 like I wanted to. I don't really know what his plan is right now, because this knight is stopped by my pawn. Like, unless he wants to do some crazy shit like this. But that doesn't do anything. Excuse me. Fair. Ah, boy. Queen f6, I'll just move his queen. Knight f6. Knight f6, does he have knight h5? Pawn takes h5. Queen g3, king f8. I don't like that. Knight f6, knight f6, knight f6. That is the question. I can play f6, but I'm concerned about the g6 pawn. Queen f6, maybe like queen e3, queen g7. He can start setting up like rook f3, rook g3. I don't think that really works, but I think it's fine. Queen g7 next. Can't say I'm a big fan of my position. Maybe even knight f8. Yep. Knight f6 is the first move, and then bishop c8 was the second move I was looking at. Knight f6, bishop c6, bishop takes, rook takes, pawn takes. I'm not a fan of that position. I think I'm holding, but it's kind of ugly. So bishop c8. Bishop c8. I don't know. Bishop c6 then. I can trade rooks. Rook b8. My knight's kind of passive on b8 though. You might win the a6 pawn after something like queen b6. So knight f6. I guess knight f6. Knight f6, bishop c6. Take the bishop. Pawn takes. Or rook takes, pawn takes. Then, no, I'm still losing a pawn because rook c8, queen. Rook c8, queen b6. Yeah, there's always queen b6 at the end of all this. Yeah, bishop c6 is such a problem. I think bishop c might be better so that I don't have to take here. I don't know. I don't think I saw that all clearly. Yeah, now I feel like I'm worse. Well, my pieces are so passive. I have to be worse, but maybe we can somehow survive. How? I don't know, but gotta figure something out, right? Oh, I just realized bishop c6 still works. Because if I take on b1, he can take on a8. Okay. So bishop takes. What's the next threat? Queen a3. I was looking at this first, but I don't think it... That is an idea. That is indeed an idea. Bishop b5 doesn't work. Unfortunate. Damn, if only there was a way to, like, set up bishop b5 as a trap. Yeah, I got nothing here. I'm gonna lose a pawn. I kind of have to just go here, right? Queen h6 next. Oh, he has queen c. I can still go here. Yeah, queen f8, right? Takes that pawn. Okay. Okay. Now what? Yeah, I was trying to get some kind of like repetition with like sacking here, getting the queen here and something, but or this, but don't work. Doesn't work. Hmm. I want to try to use my queen to like harass, but I feel like these two pawns are gonna be what decides the game. Yeah, so I thought here, there. But I guess it doesn't even do anything, huh? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. What am I thinking? Yeah. Now what? I need to get here to try to do something like this, which I'm pretty sure is too slow, but I don't know what else to do. What else to do? Yeah, starting this. Which, all things considered, it's not even a... Is it a threat? I don't know. Can I still go bishop here? No, because he has queen takes, pawn takes here, there. I don't know. Maybe there's a world I can draw this. Yeah, fair enough. No, I can't go king d6. King d6. It's too slow. A4? Can I somehow play A4? Maybe. Holding on for dear life. I don't know. I don't think I can win this at all, but I gotta try. Can I go here? No, I'm too slow. Wait. Uh, wait. I don't think this works. I don't know. I don't think this works. Tick, tick. This is drawable. Like, barely drawable. Maybe. We'll see. It's just like, how do I draw this? If this is a draw. Check here. There's a way this can be a draw. I don't know if this is one of the ways to do it, but I don't see another way to draw this. Here. I think this is wrong, but I don't know what's right. Here might be a problem. No, I messed it up. Yeah, I messed this up. I went to the wrong square here. I'm down the tempo. Yeah, it's here, there. That's it. I don't know, whatever. Ugh. I'm wondering if that was a draw. Like here, I don't know if this is drawn. Or wait, no, not here. Here. Okay, I don't want the computer to tell me yet. Nice. All right. Is this a draw? That's the question. Like, this doesn't feel like a draw, and I don't remember the reason why this is or is not a draw. Maybe I should have just tried for it anyway. I'm pretty sure this has to be losing, right? I don't know, man. All right, let me just go back. All right, so yeah, I knew he was gonna play this kind of setup. Let me throw this into the study. LoneWolf here. Yeah. I knew we were gonna get into this position, but I should have looked at it again before the game to understand it deeper. Yeah, so bishop d3 feels pretty normal. Knight d7, bishop b7, king h1. Yeah, I felt like this was all fine. And there's just like so many captures to look at. I thought this didn't make any sense. This pawn feels very... yeah, so like this capture didn't look right, as the d4 pawn is very loose, and e5 would weaken my position after f5. That's what I see. bc3 here, and I didn't see how this helps my position. I also considered a5. What was the other? Oh, you can't see my was the other candidate move, but yeah, why didn't I play a5? I don't remember. I went with this over a5 because it directly attacks the e4 pawn. d5. Castle. Yeah, I was thinking about playing this first, but after knight takes, the later c4 sacrifice idea wouldn't work. But the game goes on, and yeah, the game goes on. Rook g1. I figured my opponent wanted to play g4, so I was hoping to beat him to some kind of attack before he could make g4, h4, g4, g5, maybe h4 work. Or I would say not work, but gain tempo on my position. So bc3, pawn c3, I think knight takes c3 is better to stop the weakness, or to protect e4. Yeah, now the c4 idea works. And the idea was if you take here, I take here, threatening this. Threatening knight f2 mate. So something like queen d1, I think I thought about in the game. Queen d1. Or queen e1, sorry. But then I have take, or no, sorry. But then I had, wait, what did I have? What did I think about in this position? Maybe knight c5. What else? c4, if he takes, if he goes back, which he did. Or did I, was it here? Here first, maybe? No, because then d5. So no, that doesn't work. Sorry. All right, so bishop c2, knight c5, again attacking e4, knight g3. I remember I was happy to see this move because white cannot push e4 now. Or sorry, g4. Knight g4, threatening this again. Yeah, and you can't take here. because of knight f2 mate. So yeah, this here. I felt like here is where the game started to turn for the worse for me. My queen side is a little awkward, and yeah, I saw this move, but I just didn't. Maybe, well, I guess in this position it works because I'm hitting this, so I don't know. Yeah, h3 here, yep. That didn't really scare me. I'm wondering if was wondering if I should have actually moved this rook here instead of the f rook. Like, because this pawn is kind of weak, especially after something like take. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Fg, Hg, yeah, you take here. Yeah, I didn't like this position because now he gets all this, but I guess it's still fine. Yeah, maybe trading wasn't the way to go. Yeah, this is where I just knew I was slightly worse. Maybe even quite worse. Yeah. Bishop c, I thought knight f6 here was going to be problematic, but I guess I could have... No, I can't go here. What am I saying? Yeah, this just looks really bad. Take... Maybe even do this. But here is kind of a problem. Unless I want to go here. Oh, maybe I go here then. But I guess you still have this. Yeah, I don't know. My alternative, but still looked bad. Yeah, I was surprised he went for this pawn. I'm surprised he went for the e5 pawn rather than the a6 pawn, since white's a pawn was an outside passer. Queen of fate, there. Yeah, I don't know why I traded rooks. I thought I had something going by getting my queen to the back rank, but I was hallucinating. Because after some queen f4, there's no way to poke the g3 knight. Yeah, this was a bad decision under time pressure. I wanted this, but take... Yeah, I was thinking about this as well. But I don't know. This doesn't look right either. Okay. Yeah, so I traded down, and then this, like, I was like, this might be winnable. I guess here's where I should have. Is this a draw? Yeah, and then not doing it lost, but all right. Moment of truth. Is this a draw? Absolutely not. Okay, good to know. So did I have any chance in this endgame then? No. 0 chance in the endgame. Yeah, I was like slightly better in the middle game, and then I messed it all up somehow. I mean, I'm not too mad about this game. I had a better position, but as always, I just couldn't figure out how to convert. Ah, I could have tactically defended. Or, wait, I just go here. What am I? Oh, wow, I didn't see this. Okay. Yeah, let me just run the whole game through the engine. Make sure, see if I missed any draws here. Probably not. Yeah, no. Okay. I mean, yeah, this always happens. This is just my middle game. I don't see the way forward to push the advantage. And I mean, like, my mid advantage is only like minus, not even -1. Yeah. All right. It's okay. On to the next one.